With me is Maajid Nawaz, who's chairman of the counter-extremism think tank, the Quilliam Foundation. Good evening. Thank you for coming in. A piece that people might have seen in the papers by you yesterday began, "I was radicalised, so I understand how extremists exploit grievances." Put that into some sort of context for us.
Absolutely. Look, we heard in the live press conference organised by some of the associates of Mohammed Emwazi about the grievances that he may have had towards the security services. And what I'd like to say is that grievances will exist. They have always existed and they will continue to exist. In fact, life itself is a form of grievance. We are on a daily basis struggling to better ourselves. There is absolutely no connection between somebody who's upset with our country's foreign policy and deciding that the solution to that anger is somehow theocratic fascism. The ideologues, people that subscribe to a dogma, whether that dogma be far-right populist racism or it be Islamist extremism, will always excel in their ability to use, to manipulate, to instrumentalize grievances for the purpose of recruitment. And what our responsibility is when articulating those grievances, as we rightly should. Look, I opposed the Iraq war from my prison cell in Egypt as a political prisoner. I remain opposed to the continued existence of Guantanamo Bay. But when I talk about these things, I make it very clear that the solution to Guantanamo is more democracy, is more freedom, is more open societies. It's not theocratic fascism.
And are you saying that not sufficient numbers of people are doing exactly as you have just alluded to?
They are when they talk about immigration, for example. When we have a conversation around immigration in this country, it's quite taboo to use racist language when doing so. Unfortunately, when we're talking about Islamist extremism, we're not so alert to the various sensitivities around that. We're not so alert to the fact that foreign policy grievances are instrumental.
When you say we're not alert, who's we in this context?
All of society. For decades in this country, we have allowed for the growth of Islamist extremism on the grassroots. Look, the leap between someone like Mohammed Emwazi, who was raised in this country, to go from someone like him to joining ISIL, isn't that great a leap? If you've come of age in an atmosphere in which it's normal for people to dream about resurrecting a theocratic caliphate and enforcing Sharia, that idea, if it's normalized in our communities, it's not such a great leap to then go and join ISIL from there.
In which case, how do we get to the point where the normalization, to use your word, of that belief is discredited far more effectively than it appears to be being discredited now?
Yeah, we just saw your correspondent outside the University of Westminster. I know for a fact that the president of the student union, not just the Islamic Society, but the student union at that university at one time, a couple of years ago, used to be associated with Hizb ut-Tahrir, an extremist Islamist organization, that's my own former organization, that's responsible for popularizing this notion of creating a caliphate. Within our academic institutions, within our civil society, within our mosques, within our schools, we have people who are unchecked, unfettered, propagating this idea of a caliphate. And unfortunately, what we're not doing is treating it as if it was homophobia or racism. We're not good at standing up and drawing a line in the sand, saying no to theocratic fascism. Our job, our responsibility, is to make Islamism, the ideology of Islamism, as unattractive, as unappealing as Soviet communism has become today.
We must leave it there. Maajid Nawaz, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.